What's up, guys? It's Calamity. I'm gonna be showing you guys how me and A Supra made the instrumental for I Do by DRO KENJI.
I don't know your motive anymore. You think that I won't get the same from other whores, and if nothing ever changes, I'd be proud of you more. Baby, don't ever celebrate, don't know a team that you're on. If I had to tell you, wait for me, I'm not that important. You should check the weather before the rain starts pouring.
Alright, so first things first, we got the loop. Just kind of goes like this. And we got the sample in the start, just from Splice. Alright, so now onto the drums. Very simple drums. Just a two-step hi-hat pattern with the velocity kind of varying. Kept the first one at 70%, and then the second one just drops down to 50%. And then we got the snare here. Both these tracks have a lot of distortion on them, so you know, it punches through the mix harder. More saturation. Just, I don't know, it just sounds good in my ears. Alright, so now into the kick. Very punchy. Just add a bunch of saturation. Really punches through the mix super hard. Yeah. Now it sounds kind of weird without the drums playing, but you know, it all comes together in the end. Alright, sidechain the kick to the bass. You know, what I do for most, if not all of my beats. You know, it just really gets rid of that mud without having to tinker with the kick too much. So the kick still has that punchy sound, not really taking anything away with an EQ. So they're not funny for the space in the mix. But I'll go over that more when I go over the mix. Alright, so now for the bass, this is from Pigments, one of my favorite plugins. I use this all the time. So good. The first half is just, you know. Simple pattern there, and then, you know, for the second half we kind of get a little bit crazy with the bass. Well, yeah, to be honest, that's honestly it, aside from going through, you know, this little chop that I did on the violin part, because in my mind it just wasn't really mixing well with the rest of the loop, but I wanted to incorporate it in some way, so it just wasn't an intro piece, just kind of tucked away back in the mix. But here's what it sounds like. If I play it all together now, you could definitely hear it. Just follows the bass, you know what I mean? Now for the breakdown part, not really sure if you could call it a breakdown. All I really did was just take the bass from the loop and just EQ it. This is it by itself. And then, you know, just with it all playing together. Now for this part, I have the violin playing just how it was in the intro without the chop. And yeah, let's get on to the mixing. So really all I did just for the hat and snare, I just EQ'd this bit up a little bit, took out some of the low end, because, you know, with it just kind of sounds... The snare kind of clashes with the kick a little bit, so without that, gets rid of some of that mud. And then, you know, just crank the distortion on this one. Really aggressive. This is it without the distortion. You're going to see why I added it. You know, it's just kind of bland, not very punchy. Now for the kick, you know, simple EQ. I added this little bump here because this is kind of typically where the punch and the kick is from. If I raise it all the way up, you'll be able to hear it. And, you know, got a little bit of distortion here. It's not too crazy, but, you know, this is it without the distortion. Still punchy, but just not giving me that crackle that you get with the distortion. Now just soft clipper so it doesn't destroy your ears. And then for the bass here, you know, just very aggressive EQ on the low end. Then I sidechained it with Fruity Limiter, you know. And, you know, if you're not sure how to add sidechain, all you gotta do is just click on this bottom arrow, right click it, sidechain to this track. Then go to your bass track, open up Fruity Limiter, and then just sidechain it, put it up to 1. Tweak with the threshold, knee, and ratio. This is kind of what my settings are. I pretty much use this for all my beats, this kind of setting right here. This is it without the sidechain. If you want to listen to it, it's very, you know, clashing, not very. But then with the sidechain, when we add it on there, not fighting for space in the mix. That's honestly about it, you know. For the melody, we just take out some of the low end too, so nothing's clashing. Yeah, it's honestly about it. Super happy to work on this song with DRO. We got more to come, you know what I mean? Yeah.